This is a deployment tutorial for Fly, which is a hosting service with cheap pricing that we're using. In the previous video, we showed how to save the database to the Fly volume so that it will survive a reboot. So I made some changes to the code to get it to be more flexible to use the static directory on Fly. So I'm going to reclone it down. And if you're following the previous tutorial, you should just do a git pull and you'll get the updates. Okay, so there's two key modifications. The first is that in the environment, we have to specify the upload directory if we're going to deploy to Fly. You apparently can only have one mount volume at a time. At least I had an error when I tried to do two different mounts. So we're going to put the uploads mounted at data uploads, and the code now looks for this environmental variable, and if it's set, it's going to save it into data upload instead. So let's try a Fly deploy now. With the modification to the fly.toml, where we're specifying the upload directory with the newest version of FastAPI code. If you missed the previous video, the main mount point is on data for a Fly volume, not the Fly machine. You're going to lose the Fly machine new information in your database and your uploads when you reboot the Fly machine. So by putting on a volume, it'll be persistent across reboots. Okay, it's looking good here. So I'm going to SSH into the Fly machine with fly SSH console. I'm now on the Fly machine. This is not local at this point. I'm going to init the database and put in some fake data for the demo. UV, because I'm not using pip, I'm using UV, run Python to make sure I'm using the virtual environment. I'm going to use op demo, so I've changed the command, it's now demo, init. So it's created a bunch of fake data. The images are in static, uploads, photos. So I'm in this app static upload photos. I'm going to copy the contents into the data, uploads, photos for the static directory. So at this point forward, if you upload the photo to the interface, it should be no problem. This is just for the initial fake data that we're going to check. When you first did the deploy, there was a URL here for the virtual machine that we're using. So it's at this URL. You can also log into the Fly dashboard, and you can see the URL there as well too. So let's check out our running Fly machine. The database has the data in it. The webinar demo. So these are in the static directory because we can edit them and upload new pictures. Let's say for this guy, John Smith. Okay, let's try to reboot the machine and see whether it survives the reboot. So I'm now on the local directory. So this is on my Mac right now. I'm not on the Fly machine, but I'm in the directory on my local machine that has the project. So it's Fly machine restart. And I have one machine for the project, so I'm going to press space and press enter, and it restarts the machine with this ID. If you go into the dashboard, you click on the sidebar here at machines, you can also confirm that it's the same machine that you are rebooting right here. So just restarted the machine, and let's test it again. So in the previous video, I set the secrets for the Fly virtual machine, and I forgot to do it because I just recloned the repository down. So there's this, in the previous video, there's a tutorial on how to set up Fly for the deployment. I kind of passed through that. So I'm back on the local machine. I'm going to put it to test.db right there. So I've updated the Fly secrets, and so the URL here is the / plus test.db. And this is actually in the documentation. All right, so let's go back to the console on the remote machine. And let's check out the Fly volume. Okay, so we got the database on the data directory, which is the mounted Fly volume. The photos are still there, right? So let's see whether it still works. Okay, data is still there. Webinar data is not there because I need to recopy it. Because I just init the database again. So this is just the one-time setup. Once you have it running, you should be able to upload the photos from the web browser. Okay, the static information is here. I'm going to exit. I'm back down the local machine. So this is the local machine again. I'm going to restart the Fly machine again, just to test to make sure that when you reboot it, it survives. So I pressed X for this machine. And you can make sure you're restarting the right machine by going into the Fly dashboard, right? So it restarted it. Let's go back here. It looks like the static images have been preserved. So we'll do a test here. I'm going to log in as admin. So by default, it's adminexample.com. You can create your own users through the panel, and you can also change the password through opman. So the password is admin123, and don't deploy with this password. This is just so that you can get you started on your local machine. I'm going to delete this machine after I finish this tutorial. So on the products, we will add a new product here. Theoretically, you have a web interface. So let's just call it laptop, or let's say Linux laptop with GPU. Description will be added after initial deployment. Price will be $1,200 US. We'll save it, and it's right here. Objective is to restart the machine again and to make sure the data survives the reboot of the fly machine. Okay. So I've just pressed reload. I think I have to log in again. I'm here. I'm going to admin panel. The products and Linux laptop is here with the information. Okay. I'll go back to the webinar manage, which is using a separate authentication. Well, it's using the same authentication, but the database one is using SQL admin. And this is a custom panel as an example that you can modify for yourself. If you want to password protect certain pages of your site, like the LLM one, because you don't want to run up your costs. All right, so we're going to try to change the picture of this guy, John Smith, to some guy with a hat. This is from Unsplash. These are fake people. Man with hat. Okay, picture uploaded. So this guy looks completely different, right? He now has a hat here. So we will restart the machine again. I'm going to restart this correct machine. And this is a good test, right? Because sometimes you might need to restart your machine. If you don't have the static system set up correctly, you'll lose your data. Okay, so he has survived it here. The guy we're working with is John Smith, and the file itself should be right here. We have the actual image that's loaded up to the fly volume, which is persistent storage. Okay, the advantage of fly again is that you're not charged when it goes to sleep. So this is quite good if you want to keep it there and just pay, it's probably under 25 cents if it's completely asleep the whole time. And it'll wake up automatically, but there's a delay. And then if you're going to show it for an interview or something, I would just leave it up. So thanks for joining us. Our goal here is just to help people learn how to use LLMs. This is completely open source under the MIT license. And since we're building it ourselves, we thought we'd make it open source. Hopefully people get additional use from this. We have in mind that maybe you're a university student, you want to build some AI apps, and you want to cheaply deploy it. So we're researching various cheap deployment options because we know cash is tight when you're a student or you're a hobbyist, and you don't want to make the investment of using more expensive LLMs or hosting options. Or maybe you're a small entrepreneur that just wants to, you have an idea, you want to try to bring it to life, show some people, and then get some more momentum behind your project. So look forward to your feedback. If there's interest, I'll keep pursuing this topic One of the things I want to look at is Lightstream to further reduce the cost of fly. I think the volume, if it's asleep, is costing about 15 cents a month. And I wanted to get it closer to zero. So I'm going to look at Lightstream with S3. Also, if there's time, look at Terso, which they do have a free tier here for 100 databases. So this would also be kind of interesting. We're using SQLite, which is free, but we have to store it on the fly volume, which is costing 15 cents roughly a month.